Grand Rising, let's see here. Welcome, 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 YouTubers to Zestful Living. Grand Rising and rise and shine. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Zestful Living with Sweet Tea. This is where we rise and shine and we start our day on purpose with purpose for the purpose of having an attitude of gratitude. I am your host, Latanja Millhouse, aka Sweet Tea, your number one hype woman. I'm also a certified life coach, health coach, and the biggest reminder, of course, that today you get another opportunity to live boldly, zestfully, and unapologetically you, and unapologetically free. The question is that we always ask is, can you hear it? Do you feel it? Do you know it? And can you see it? It's a brand new day. Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? It's a brand new day and another opportunity, as I say, to start your day with an attitude of gratitude. And so that's what we like to advocate here in this space. Welcome to each and every one of you all for being here bright and early as you get your day started in a zestful way. And so as we prepare for the gratitude journals, we want to welcome in Tovan that has joined and peeped in. I see Arn there in the Facebook land. So thank you all, and pardon me, in the TikTok land. So thank you all so much for being here as once again we prepare for the gratitude journal. So if you have something to write in or write on, let's go ahead and do that as you can go ahead and be prepared to write in it. And so what we're going to do today, the journal prompt says, think of a moment this week when you almost talked yourself out of showing up for you. And what did you do instead? And what did that cost you or give you? So think of a moment there this week when you almost talked yourself out of showing up for you. All right. And so we want to start writing about that. What did you do instead? Instead of talking yourself out of something, what did you do instead? And what did that cost you or give you? And so good grand rising to you as well. And so let's take a look at that. Let's start writing on that as it is now. Okay. And so I will, as everyone knows, the sweet tea don't get personal. Okay. But I will share with you all what I've written because, again, it helps everyone to be able to share. And if you want to share that your particular writing for today's journal prompt, you can do so also. And so go ahead and share it in the comments section if you like. And so think of a moment this week when you almost talked yourself out of showing up for you. What did you do instead? And what did that cost you or give you? And so I mentioned that I having to show up for an event that I signed up for, and it gave me the credibility for keeping my word. And so that's one thing that my parents taught me, that your word is your bond. And so to be able to show up for an event that I said that I would be at all costs, that it taught me and it kept the credibility of making sure that my word is my bond. And so that's going to be very important as you move on in life, to keep your word on anything that you say that you're going to do. If you say you're going to be somewhere, be there. And preferably, more importantly, on time. And so welcome to each and every one of you all as we begin our show today. We want to welcome in Osha Cerese. She's joining us. It's our Monday edition, as Osha Cerese is joining us today on Monday. Welcome.
Grand Rising, everyone.
Welcome. And And so that's what we have for you today, as it is Grand Rising.
Rise and shine.
Rise and shine. Let me do it again.
No, it's a song.
It's a song.
This is our
This-
debut of our jingle that we promised you we would have this month.
Okay, let's see here. Make sure you're on. Grand Rise.
No. No, cut.
Okay. Grand Rise.
No.
Okay.
Rise and
Okay.
shine.
Rise and. Okay. No.
Rise.
Rise and shine.
It's Mama and me on
Zestful
Zestful
living with sweet tea. One more time. Rise and shine.
It's Mom. No.
Okay. Rise and shine.
It's Mama and me on
Zestful
Zestful living with sweet tea. We gonna get it.
We go get it.
We gonna practice. We came up with it in the wee hours of the night. And but that's your little sneak peek. We promised that we would have a jingle before the end of the month, so we delivered.
Yeah, best we could. Uh-huh. And so, what are we doing today, Asha? What we want to talk about is the recap, as it is of this week.
Well, first of all, I'm doing something that I usually don't ever do, and that's showing up on Zestful Living with Sweet Tea
Mm-hmm.
in my PJs.
Oh, that's your PJs.
Yeah, because yesterday was my birthday, and I'm still tired, and this is still my birthday. So as soon as we get through here, I'm getting back in the bed.
That's right. And I have one myself that I will be joining in as well. It's been calling my name lately.
So, but yes, this is my birthday. I'm still in my birthday energy. Honestly, I celebrate my birthday all Leo season. I feel like you need to start celebrating your birthday all Cancer season because our birthdays are only 7 days apart. It just, I feel like you don't get enough of just like the energy of your birthday being still. I mean, we still celebrate it, but it's just like it's 7 days later, then it's my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
You need to start celebrating your birthday at the end of June, as soon as Cancer season starts.
As soon as Cancer. It's just to bask in the energy of a new chapter. And even though it's been said that you were born that one day will by Prince, and he says that that is the birth, that one day, but anything else, he doesn't keep up with his age and time and all of those kinds of things to where he doesn't age, if you will, quote unquote, to where people are constantly wanting to know, well, how old are you? And then after a certain point, are you supposed to act a certain way based on, make myself taller, based on the age that you are? Is there a certain way that you're supposed to act? And so now that I am 60, is there a certain way that we're supposed to act in terms of these new seasons that we're in and these new ages, if you will? And so it's just a matter of being grateful, first of all, for having a new year that you have orbited around the sun. It's a new season for all of us. And so happy birthday once again, Asha. Happy birthday, born day, Earth Day. How did you enjoy yourself? Did you have a good time?
I did. I actually, this year I did not have a single plan. This month has just been super busy. I had an event July 10th, so it was a lot of planning and posting and marketing and all the things, going out, inviting people and all of that for a successful event July 10th.
Mhm.
And then I single-handedly hosted and planned and invited and did all the things for your birthday on the 19th. And then I've been doing other things, just that's been keeping me busy. So by the time I got around to thinking about what I wanted to do for my birthday, I didn't have a single plan. And, a lot of people was like, what are you doing? Do you have plans? Let me know. And I've been seeing a lot of Leos on threads talking about how nobody really had plans this year. And just feeling like, just somebody take over. If you want to do something, just let me know instead of asking me to let you know, because I'm out of ideas at this point. But I was in bed yesterday, just not really even tripping about the fact that I didn't have any plans. I was just gonna have a nice, relaxing day and just flow. And one of my closest friends, my brother DG,
Mm-hmm.
called me and wished me a happy birthday and was like, "What you got planned today?" And I said, "Nothing." He was like, "I'm coming to get you." So he told me to be ready, and he was saying that he was gonna take me to brunch, and then we can go do it. He was like, "We'll have a content day where you could take, I can record you, you could take pictures and stuff." And he got here a little later than he said. So
Right.
the brunch places were closed. He didn't get here late, but it was just like later than we planned.
Right. On
So
Sunday.
the brunch places were closed, so we had to switch gears, and we went to a nice restaurant. I had some sushi and some, I think it was like some sweet and sour or sweet sesame cauliflower bites, something like that. We had a couple drinks, and then we walked in this Georgia heat, which it wasn't even the hottest day, but it was hot. We walked to Atlantic Station, and we just people watched and talked and caught up with each other. We recorded a few things. Oh, I took some pictures throughout the day too.
Oh, okay.
And then we went to a rooftop place and had some appetizers and drinks. So today I am excited to be able to get a little bit more rest before I have to get into my day.
Is this the Auntie Vibes?
Mhm.
Auntie Vibes is looking for rest time.
Absolutely.
And so welcome, Dad. Thank you so much for joining all the way in from Cali, where it's 5 a.m. there in Cali. Dad, we did come up with a jingle for Monday. Shall we sing it for Dad if he has?
Do you remember it?
Okay.
You're the one that they
Yes.
remember.
Rise.
No.
Okay.
You hear the beat?
Rise. And
No.
rise. Rise and shine.
This is the beat.
Girl, you a mess. Rise. Rise and shine.
No.
Rise and shine. What is it?
Rise and shine.
Okay. Rise and shine.
It's Mama and me on
Zestful living with sweet tea. Okay, so we'll get better.
This is the one that don't know the song. I thought you want to sing it for everybody.
Right. And so, yes, I'm so happy that you have those kinds of friends that will take the lead when it comes to what is it that you want to do. Now, when do you get those kind of calls from anyone
Right.
that says for you to get dressed, get ready, I'm taking you out for today, and you can go wherever you want to go?
Yeah, and I am very grateful for
That
my
is
friends.
really a good friend.
I do feel like, the friends that I have, they do feel like family. Because, when you're choosing friends, it should feel like your chosen family.
Right.
Because you're born into a family. You create your own family as far as like having your own spouse and children.
Yeah.
But then your chosen family are the friends that you select to be in your life. And so my friends they mean a lot to me, and I mean a lot to them too. So it really feels good. I feel loved and feel thought of and feel just appreciated. And like he said his mother always taught him it's quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I was saying like, oh, what does that mean? You don't have a lot of friends, but you got a good friend. And he was like, no, you're a great friend. He was like, but I meant like we might not spend the time with each other every day, but when we do see each other, we always have a good time.
It's always a good time, and as it is, Osha, your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. And I can count on one hand how many I have, because again, when you have a close-knit family, and for those that do come into your space, you honor them because you value friendships and you value the sisterhood and all of the ways in which everyone shows up. So it means a great deal, and you don't take people for granted. And so that's how I felt when I saw all of the beautiful smiles sitting there to bask in the energy of celebrating with me as I have orbited around the sun again. Is that a true statement?
I guess you just orbited around the sun.
Yeah, and so as far as being able to see
return,
the solar, and so to be able to see those beautiful faces just pouring into you, it just meant so much, and I'm still on a natural high.
Did you enjoy your video that I put together for you for your birthday?
I enjoyed
the
it.
recap.
The recap, I watched it over and over, and I'll watch it again continuously. Because when do you have something that's captured over time with these videos that you can always go back and listen to the replay and things of that nature that displays how much you are adored and appreciated and loved? And so as I walked in and saw a table full of smiles, I said, what is going on? Where did you come from? And so it's something about seeing that in real time. All of the beautiful people that showed up for me, it was just amazing. Thank you so much, Asha, for making that for me, making my day. And sometimes that I do, perhaps this is a mom thing or parent thing that I may feel as if, what can I do for Asha after she's done so much for me?
You do things for me all the time, and you know, my birthday is always special. You started my day off with a beautiful card, and you know, just the intentions of wanting good for me, speaking greatness over my life, and we do things all the time. So everything doesn't have to be just like, you know, this big grand gesture for the birthday. So
that's right, and thank you for that. And just as much as we do believe in all of the other holy days or holidays that come about, Mother's Day, do you just show your mama you love her on one day? Father's Day, do you do that as well? In Christmas, you run up and give gifts, and Valentine's Day. So you don't get hung up in the actual area of what this means if you're doing it all the time. If you're doing it all the time, it's not something that is like pulling teeth to show somebody that you care about them. So yes, I will continue to watch the video. I believe that it is one of the most incredible things. I didn't know so many people was going to be there that loved me so much. I appreciate it, even for those that desired to come, that they were too busy or wasn't able to make it. I appreciate you, because as I say, when you go to these church facilities, not churches chicken, but some of these churches, and it used to be said that bless those that want to give, but they just don't have it to give. What about that? They don't say it anymore. I believe they're locking doors and said, if you don't give this, you can't leave. Now, I know that was one particular incident, and it may have been taken out of the intent of what it meant, but people just ran with it. But it seems as if you wanted to do something and you just didn't have the ability to do it, you still should be honored and recognized for the fact that you wanted to. Just like I said in my opening prompt, think of a moment this week when you almost talked yourself out of showing up for you. What did you do instead, and what did that cost you or give you? Or I almost didn't make it somewhere that I said that I wanted to be. And I made the provision and swallowed my pride, because again, well, for me, myself personally, as my brother would say, when it comes to asking, there's something about that I have to work on a little bit more. So when I asked and reached out for someone to assist me and help me along the way, I was able to fulfill the thing that I said that I would do, is to show up. And that's one thing that you must do, is keep your word. And so that means a lot to me.
That means a lot to me too. I said that's I don't know if it was ever not a deal breaker for me, but now that's like a very huge deal breaker for me when like somebody in my life doesn't keep their word. Now I can let you slide maybe once. You know, things happen and all of that. And you know, if there's a valid reason.
Right.
But when you're making that a habit, or when that's your character to not keep your word, miss me.
Yeah.
Please.
That's a bad character flaw. And so, Asha, what did you think of, as you would probably bring up as well, the season finale of The Chi?
Well, I thought that it was, you know, spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen it, but I thought that it was decent.
It was decent.
In my TJ voice, because that's really like Chicago lingo. But decent for them in Chicago means good. Decent, what I'm saying, means just average. But I feel like it was decent. But I think that the whole season could have been done a little bit better. It was just too many loose ends. a lot of storylines that didn't necessarily even have to exist, and they could have spent that time focusing on the storylines that did need to exist. And I think that if they would have done what happened with Nook earlier in the season, they could have more so showed the journey of Keisha and Tiffany, like reconnecting and rebuilding their friendship. Because all we saw was a conversation, and then we immediately saw the reconciliation with her being in the wedding. So just things that didn't make the most sense or weren't the best ways to do things. But overall, 8 seasons, I enjoyed the show. It was a great show. I'm gonna miss it. We saw the people grow up. So yeah, I think it was a great. I ain't gonna say it was a great ending, but I think that it was great for them to be able to be the longest running Black series in history with 8 seasons, to be able to do a great job and show those stories that aren't shown. Of course, there was a lot of violence and stuff, but then there were storylines. You could see character development. You could see the coming of age story for the young men.
Yes.
It was a lot of great moments in the series overall. So the last season wasn't the greatest, but it was good enough.
I know that the narrating, I believe it was Emmett's character that did the narrating, and it brought me to tears because it was actually showing, as you pointed out, where they started and how they grew up there on television with us. And so you could see, as you pointed out, the character development for those. And everyone fell in love with Darnell and Emmett, the father and son, as they both did an excellent job. And as it is, Emmett, what's his name in real life?
Jacob Lattimore.
Jacob Lattimore carried the series, in my opinion. And he did an awesome job with growing up in real time for himself, being a father as his son, as we say, spoiler alert, that the idea that his son came to him because the mother brought him because the son was being wayward, was getting into trouble and fights, and he was having a tough time adjusting. And so toward the end, as Emmett's character, or Jacob's Latter's character,
Lattimore, like Kenny Lattimore.
Lattimore's character was able to be a part of what that means for him in his fatherhood, because his father, Darnell, showed him a great deal of what consistency looks like and owning up to the mistakes that you may make along the way. And so when his little son came over to him and hugged him and told him, I love you, he felt something then. And this is really some great acting when it comes to us being able to absorb in the moment of what these characters are actually going through and real time. And so we could feel that and know that. And even the young lady that played Keisha, as she also carried the series as well, with the struggles that she went through, showing the interpersonal relationships between her and her mother and her brother. It was really, really well written when it comes to how those relationships developed over time. And that's what I can appreciate about it. But yes, a little bit toward the end, there was a great deal of things that were thrown in. Different people popped up for no reason in different areas of the show that did not have a completion. When Keisha's mother walked in and she was already involved with a conversation with her stepmom, if you will.
It was mother-in-law, but not quite, because her and Darnell were married. Okay. Her father-in-law's girlfriend.
Her father-in-law's girlfriend, fair enough. It had a moment to where Keisha's mother came in that you did not see that dynamic play out in terms of how she was introduced. That Keisha didn't introduce her. So some loose ends there, but overall, like I said, it had me in tears. Because I believe it will be something in some reference as Cornbread Earl and Me. This is something that's going to be timeless, as it will be something that you can play again and again. And all of the characters now are showing up on social media. They're basking in the glory of what they have accomplished. And it's good to see that now that it has come to an end, perhaps there's more opportunities for a great deal of them. The brother that took the fall for everyone was Reg was heartbreaking, because if he felt as if his life had no meaning, if he felt that his life didn't matter, that no one loved him, and for some that perhaps may have been involved in thug life culture, there was a great deal of I love you going on in that closing series, that everyone was coming to grips with their emotions for whatever reason.
Yeah, they were emotional. They wrapped it up. They probably really were able to lean into the emotions of this being the last season
Right.
to use for their characters. But yeah, everybody did a great job. I think the majority of the actors on the Shy are good actors,
Mhm.
because there are some shows that I'm watching and the acting is not coming through.
Mhm.
But the Shy, they're really good, and I think that hopefully they'll continue to be successful, because they did a great job on this series. The characters that you love, you really love them. The characters you can't stand them because they did a good job.
As everyone would know, moving on with Raising Canaan, is it?
Mm-hmm.
The beatdown that he received from his uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back on the screen for the next episode and he looked terrible.
He was lumped up.
He was lumped up as he deserved to be, because again, if you're going to be in these particular roles and as a character, he cannot fight. Cannon cannot fight, but he always wants to be in the middle of being this bad ass, if you will. And he doesn't have anything to back it up. But when it comes to that uncle, he gave him what he was looking for. And if he continues as it is, you don't want to be on Rock's bad side, which is his mother. As much as she has tried to protect him, as much as she tried to show up for him, how dare he turn against his mother and his uncle? As I'm not certain if it was meant for him to take out his uncle. I don't believe he did that on purpose. It was an accident.
But the theme of Power, like the whole Power universe, there's rarely a parent-child dynamic where they get along.
Oh, okay.
Tommy and his mama didn't hardly get along.
That's right.
Tariq didn't get along with his dad. He loved his mom. That was a dynamic. The Tejada kids didn't like the mama. What was her name? Monet. Mary J. Blige. They didn't like their mama.
That's right.
And then Kanan doesn't like his mother. So, and then Kanan didn't like his son on the original Power.
On the original,
he took
Power.
his own son out. So whoever the writers are, they make it a theme across the Power universe that the dang on parents and the kids don't get along.
They don't.
Even with Tommy's force, that was he wasn't Italian. He was like Scottish, maybe Russian,
Scottish,
something like that. His kids had problems with him.
That is interesting thing that you picked up on that, because what is it about having those kinds of dynamics? And you'll find that the very person that you have a war against, as it was on Power Force, that the dad did not want his daughter to take over that role, but that's something that she desired and she wanted against all odds. And so he wanted to leave the legacy to his son, and his son had some kind of betrayal in the mob world that went on. So it is interesting how that played out. And even Tommy with his mom, what did Tommy's mom ever do to him?
She was just, I guess, on drugs, and he just didn't. He loved her, but he didn't like her very much.
He didn't like her very much.
He didn't want to deal with her.
Because she had some things that she hid from him, to know that he had a half brother that was black. I don't think it was the fact that he was black, but the fact that he had a half brother that he got to know. And even that half brother had issues with his son that he didn't get along with. That's a very good observation, Asha, when it comes to these characters and how we can be absorbed in some of these series and pick up on that. And it's just really annoying how they did Tyreek, was it? Tariq, that they did not expose him to the other side of life. You can shelter a child for so much, and they hid all of the things that they were doing, and that's fine if he cannot handle being in that kind of world and in that kind of life. But to be able to equip them and to be able to know how they can navigate in real time, because he got tricked by Kanan because he was not aware of some of the things that his father was involved in. Him and Tommy, Ghost and Tommy, were involved in. So it's okay to tell your children some things so that they would be aware of whatever is happening in real time that no one else could go around and tell them something about their parents, tell them something that they didn't know, because people will bring that up to you as if, as the child, you're not aware of what your parents have done, are doing, and who they used to be way back when. And so, as it is, no one could really say anything against your parents as it is. But if someone has some dirt and some tea that they want to spill and share to you as the child, it won't penetrate you because you are aware. So they kept Tariq Green where he wanted to know about the life, and he found out in a very, very dramatic way. So very good observation, Asha.
Yes. So LaRon says, it's interesting you said that about the Power Universe, how the parent-child relationship is toxic. It's the same thing with Nemesis on Netflix, and Courtney Kemp wrote them both. So I noticed that a lot of showrunners, they do end up having like the same type of theme in everything that they do, because there's Courtney Kemp. Who's the lady that does, let me see. What is that noise?
I think it's the ice maker. Ice maker.
No.
So he wrote the Power Universe.
Okay, then Shonda Rhimes, she did Scandal, and then she does what is the other name of the show that I watch? Bridgerton.
Oh, she does Bridgerton.
And I noticed that maybe she has a lot of like interracial relationships that she, highlights in her shows that she does. And then let me see what she's done.
Now, the Nemesis also has that dynamic with the father and the son, the main character. And of course, I have to learn their names. That played out in real time for what they had gone through. Lots of hurt going on in some of these relationships, dynamics between the father and the son on Nemesis. If you hadn't had a chance to watch that, it is an awesome series. I believe that I've started rewatching it because of the way that these actors are showing up nowadays. And if that's something that you want to be in the industry, to learn your craft and to know how to move about to where it's believable and it hooks you in. And so I love to watch those kinds of series to where you learn the characters.
And then Lena Waithe, she's the showrunner of The Chi. She highlights a lot, she did Queen and Slim too. Like, some people feel like she doesn't give like happy endings. It's always, sometimes people feel like it's a little bit of trauma that she puts into. Lena Waithe.
Oh yeah, that's the one that did the Chi.
Yeah, The Chi, Queen and Slim. It looks like she's also been on board with a couple of other shows. Master of None, 20s. I haven't seen. I don't think I might have seen 20s because I believe it was just one season. The Boomerang series, I don't think I ever watched that one. So I haven't really seen a lot of her other stuff. Dear White People, I did see that, but I don't know if she was the showrunner or if she was just a producer. But people have themes. We know that when we see a Tyler Perry movie or a Tyler Perry series, we pretty much know that he's going to take a lot of inspiration from other movies and classics, and it's going to be, usually people say it's like a woman that's going through something. Sometimes they say she's going through something with a darker skinned man, and then she's saved by a lighter skinned man or some type of softer man or whatever. And goes to her hometown and all these things. So
the church
you kind of see the patterns with people's stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. I tell you, I will enjoy watching The Chi again from start to finish at some point, because it is a long series, longest running series there in history, right? Black. And so that is very interesting, Asha, that we did in terms of the recap. I wanted to ask you about, as it is a hot topic, when we're looking at the interview that Keke Palmer did with Oprah Winfrey, and Oprah was talking about how in her 20s that she was running after a man. Clear my throat. And so some of the things that happens to where you may not be aware of some of the things that you do in your earlier years that you made a fool of in a lot of ways. That you're running around as if you have not ever been in love before.
That you may have not.
You may have not. And so when you get scorned about a lot of things that she did, chasing after the man, and she says that when she had jumped up on the bumper and he grabbed up on the bumper as he was pulling away. And the disgrace that she got from that, of course, is the gravel that was in her knees as she wiped them away. I don't know if she had pants on that protected her knees, but that's something that you just don't know. And the question is, should women ever chase a man, pursue a man, run after a man, and also run up on a man when it comes to, you may see him somewhere, to introduce yourself? Dad and I had a conversation about this briefly, and he says that it's okay, in his opinion, for a woman to pursue a man when it comes to her intent of asking for whatever it is that she wants.
And what does she want him?
She wanted to be able to let him know, if in the case of someone that you may see out in the public spaces, and if it is at a nightclub, because I have done it. I've walked up to someone and asked and had a conversation with them. I don't think I asked them to dance, but I had a conversation with them. But that is the extent to where I will take it. Now, running up on a bumper, chasing after a man, we all have had those moments, I'm sure, ladies, if you can recall. It may take a few of us a little longer than others, as Betty White has said in her song. And so is that something you agree with?
Whenever you give me a chance to answer, I'll jump in.
Yeah, is that something that you agree with, that a woman should chase a man? Because I don't agree with it, but go ahead.
You ready?
Yeah.
I think that there's nothing wrong with letting someone know that there's interest. I think, if you're in a space, like you said, a club or something, I think it's nice for a woman to be able to, look, smile, maybe wave, wink, look a couple times maybe. And hopefully that will let the man know that you're safe enough to approach. But it seems like these days that's not really happening. I don't think it's anything wrong with going up to a man to spark a conversation or give him a compliment, let him know he's handsome, or you like something, to see if he will take the alley-oop to continue the conversation. And if you ask him, is he single or whatever, and that sparks another conversation, cool. As far as pursuit, when I hear pursuit, in my mind, I'm thinking, like you said, running after or chasing or, trying courting. What does pursue mean? I think initiating conversation, being
right, I go along with that. Mm-hmm.
Being open to receiving whatever it is that they want to do. Because sometimes it feels like, because my most recent boyfriend, I approached him, but I didn't approach him like, I want you. I just was like, hey, how you doing? Him and the person he was with. I did ask if they were single, and I got their information so I could send them some information about my singles events.
Right.
And I'm like, if he's interested, he'll say something. At the moment, he didn't really say anything. I didn't even end up reaching out until a month later. When I did, I sent them two different types of messages. I sent both of them the same information, but I told my ex that, I did approach because I thought you were handsome. Mm-hmm. That's letting him know there's a little interest there. So it's up to you to throw it back. Mm-hmm. He was still kind of healing from a relationship that he had been in the previous year. Mm-hmm. So he kind of was like flirting and saying certain things, but it wasn't enough for me to be like, oh, he want me. Mm-hmm. So I left it alone, and I just invited him to the event that I was having about a month or so later. And then that's when, I ain't gonna say he was still healing, but he was still, I don't think, not quite ready to date yet. So maybe 2 months after that is when I invited him out. And he was like, well, I want to get to know you. Mm-hmm. So even though I did approach, and I did let him know that the reason I approached was because he was handsome, everything else was in his court as far as making anything happen from there. I wasn't finna chase, pursue, suggest, none of that. Because I feel like even with him even with that interaction, I feel like once you start something, a man can get used to that. Like if I'm starting, if I'm the one that approached, now all of a sudden I'm the one that gotta, you know, come up with the dates, or I gotta figure out where we're going. Where else in the relationship do I have to take the lead?
Right.
If I'm constantly setting the tone of leading.
Oh,
so
yes,
that's
a
not
good
what I'm
point.
trying to do. And not that women can't lead, not that we're not, because we are great leaders as well.
Mhm.
But I think that a lot of women, we want to take the burden of having to lead and figure things out and run the show and coordinate and manage. We want to have that off of our shoulders sometimes, especially when we're with our man. And sometimes the archetype of man who wants to be pursued and chased, that just doesn't show up in the beginning. It shows up throughout the whole theme of the relation. It's the theme of throughout the whole relationship. So I think that's the part that makes me want to be careful when it comes to how far will you go on this pursuit of this gentleman.
What would you do?
Because when does it end? Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost one of those things that you have to be careful, because as you pointed out, they will depend upon you. And as we're finding in many of the conversations, some of the men there that are looking for the woman's perks, you know, in terms of the courting and in terms of the gifts. And it's nothing wrong depending on your love in the treatment, depending on your love language and where you are on that spectrum, if you will, about how you receive love. But the idea, not so much of opening car doors and things of the chivalry type of thing, but the perks of being able to receive. And as we know, that's a woman's area that we are to be as it is. And so be feminine, be loyal, be grateful, and all of these kinds of things that we can be. And that way it takes the pressure off of us to be in a masculine energy, as many are finding that they may be in. Not so much that this is what they elected, but it's just how they have the adulting responsibilities that belongs to, in some cases, for a provider. And so, like you say, how far do you take it? Because we know in the animal kingdom that the lioness does all of the hunting, okay? And he's the king of the jungle for a reason, all right?
And what's the reason?
It's because he has, in many cases, he has a tribe or a harem, if you will, as he is the pride of his pride, that he has many lionesses that are in his pride.
But what's the reason that he's the king of the jungle?
Because he is fierce, he is strong.
Because he's the protector.
And he's the protector, and he walks with authority. Have you seen a lion walk?
I am a lion.
Okay, so they walk with authority, sweetie, and you don't want none of that. But the lioness is the one that goes out and do all of the hunting in the animal kingdom. Now, for some women, as we have already had this conversation, they're getting down on one knee. They're proposing publicly, and they're making a get up, stand up. They're making a mockery out of the man around all of his friends, as she is asking for his hand in marriage. Now, how dainty does he hold his hand? And in a lot of senses, is she going to have to carry him over the threshold? How far do you want to take it, ladies? As Keisha, there on the shy, wanted to also let Emmett know that she wanted to do the proposing as well. And so they both ended up doing it, in a sense, together. And so that is something that is a modern take. I believe that there's certain things that tradition should be left alone.
I agree too. And I think I saw a lot of people justifying Keisha doing it because he had already proposed to her and she declined the initial time. So they felt like, well, she needs to do it this time. But I think a conversation, when it comes to the wanting to be married, I think the conversation should be had like throughout the whole relationship. First of all, do you even want to be married? Not necessarily to me, but in general. Do you see yourself being married? Right. Secondly, what's your desired timeline? And what are the things that need to be checked off the list before you feel you're ready to be married? And then when you get into the relationship and you start to have love and you all are starting to put your life together, then, just having the casual conversation of, is this something that you want long term? Do you see yourself in this relationship, in this union for the rest of your life? Are you all planning things for the future? Are you all talking about children and parenting styles and the dynamics of bringing your families together? So I feel like that in that sense, the conversation should already be had that your man knows that this is what you would want. He pretty much knows that once he proposes, you're going to be ready and you're going to want to be with him based on what you all have been doing leading up to that. I personally don't believe that a woman should propose because I feel like most women, we were dang near born ready to get married. That's not the same energy for men. Not saying that some men don't dream about and fantasize about and desire to have a wife and a family or a marriage and a family, but I feel like there's a different type of uh, preparation that is required for a man to be ready. Mm-hmm. And if a woman is getting down on one knee before this man is ready, mm-hmm. you're rushing him into something that he's not prepared for. And it's just I just believe in tradition when it comes to that. I just believe get yourself up off of that. Must have been a neighborhood.
Somebody don't want to get up off.
Wi-Fi needs to reconnect.
Okay, and so I believe that to be a.
I heard some noise outside.
See if Facebook can reconnect for us. Cut it off.
No, just give it a share.
And so it's one of those things or not. If you're at home and you're wearing a stocking cap or whatever it is that you wear on your hair, on your, to protect yourself with, do they get to see the real you?
They do me because I'm usually my real me every day. Put on makeup sometime when I feel like it, but ladies, don't be afraid to be in your natural state. If anything, a lot of men prefer to meet women in their natural state, and then when you do have the makeup on and you're glammed up, that's just an addition. That's a perk. Mm-hmm. But if being yourself is wearing makeup, some women have been playing in makeup and loving the way makeup looks since they were little girls, and that's just their aesthetic. Mm-hmm. But they have to be. You have to be comfortable in whatever way you present yourself, and accept yourself before you worried about what a man or anybody else thinks about your look. So if you accept it and you embrace it and that's what you like, then everybody else's opinion comes second. But hopefully you find some confidence and acceptance in your natural look so that it's not a big reveal and it's just, yeah, yesterday I had a face full of makeup, today I don't. So this is me. It doesn't have to be a grand, I got to take a woman to a swimming pool before, it ain't that deep.
I know I was sharing once before that I met a young man that appeared to be a lot taller than what he actually was. He had on the high top boots like what Prince would wear. And then as the night went on and a lot of the things were shedding, I believe he took off the toupee. And so brace yourself for some of the things that you might see.
So he had on tall boots.
He had on tall
and
boots.
Fake hair?
He had fake hair and he got shorter. And you would think that a person would have a way of keeping themselves moisturized.
He was ashy too?
I believe he was ashy
Where
also.
Did you meet this fella?
So the aesthetics look very well because he had a Jaguar and he looked taller. He had a cowboy hat on, and I believe that also gave him an extra 2 inches.
That was the original top hat. He hatfished you.
He hatfished me. And so some of the things, fellas, brace yourself, as we found out in Love and what is it, First Sight? Married at First Sight, when the lady took off all her makeup.
And he was like, your hair is long. And she was like, well, these are extensions.
Brace yourself, sweetie. You never know what you're going to get and who you're going to get. But the biggest thing of it is, do you accept yourself? Because as I have pointed out, someone mentioned to me, is this the switch? It's the switch because I'm getting comfortable. Many men are used to women sleeping in a full beat of makeup. Do they still do that?
I hope not. That's not good for your skin. But speaking of Married at First Sight, we don't have to talk about all the couples, but what do you feel specifically about the couple, Nikki and Sean, where they're a black couple in their 40s? Spoiler alert for anybody that wants to go watch it. We're just going to briefly talk about it. She is a high earning woman. She makes between, I think she said, $250,000 and $300,000 a year. Mm-hmm. And that was the range that she preferred her man to be in as well. She said she would settle for $200,000.
Right.
She said that was very important to match her income requirements. She claimed to be a sapiosexual, which means that she's more attracted to intellect and conversations and all of these things. That's what sexually attracts her to a man over looks. She did mention that she likes tall men, but she said that she's been with some great men who weren't as tall.
Mm-hmm.
She also talked about the fact that she's in her 40s, but she still desires to have children.
Mm-hmm.
So she would want a man that's open-minded to that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what they presented to her when she got to the altar, because married at first sight, you don't see the person that you're marrying until you get to the altar.
Mm-hmm.
When she got to the altar, she was like, am I supposed to stand here and wait on my groom? I don't know if she thought he was the pastor. I don't know if she thought if he was the groom's daddy or
right.
what. But she was not happy with what she saw. And he's not an unattractive man. He's just not a traditionally attractive, like tall, athletic build type of man. He's a shorter, I think he's like 5'6", dad bod, bald head, just average looking guy. But he does fit the criteria of having a high earning, being high earning, wanting certain things, and they match on paper, but she's not attracted to him. Then there's some other things that kind of make him less than attractive. Like his voice is a little sassy. It's a little zesty. It sounds very... No, his voice generally sounds zesty. He has a very feminine voice. And then he grew up in the church, very indoctrinated into religion.
Oh, okay.
Didn't really start exploring his sexuality until maybe his late 20s.
Yes.
So he's saying, he hasn't said that he is homosexual or has had any homosexual experiences yet in the show. He hasn't said that, but he does seem very hypersexual. Every little joke is an sexual innuendo. He's constantly saying something sexually driven, and it seems like because he was suppressed or repressed from sexual, tapping into his sexuality for so long, now it's just like a horny teenager. And so he's kind of cringy when it comes to that. But she's also fronting like her list was being a sapiosexual and not wanting to prioritize looks and wanting to prioritize money and other things. Okay, ma'am, here you go. But when you are faced with what you asked for and it's not in the package that you desire it to be, you should have been more upfront. You should have said that looks are very important to you and given them some clear examples of what you wanted. And then it's like, you can tell when a woman likes a man and when she doesn't, because if he was her type, remember that meme that I had sent you where it's like, the attractive guy is flirting and then the ugly man or the unattractive man is harassment. Because if a man that I got bit up by mosquitoes, if y'all see me scratching, if the man that she got paired with was attractive to her, she would be more affectionate. Like he wants to be very affectionate, and he's like, well, can I get another kiss? And she's like, let's hold off on that. She would be all on him, kissing him. If it was a man that she was attracted to, she would be not so offended by his sexual jokes. She would probably flirt back. And then if it was a man she was attracted to, she would be nicer in the way that she communicates, because she's very rude in the way that she communicates with him. It's clear that she's annoyed by him.
I know that she did mention that she would more likely grow on loving him and accepting him, but be careful what you sign up for. Married at first sight. Now, if they just want to be able to have the title, okay, then that is what they have. If you want to be able to say, I's a married now, be careful, ladies, if this is what you actually want. Because when it came to the consummation of the marriage, all of them wanted to be able to be saints. All of them wanted to be able to be in a space. I don't do that. Well, ma'am, this is your husband. So does it make a difference in terms of some of these titles? Now, obviously, you don't know the person. All right. This is the first time you ever met them. So now you got standards. Now you have morals. Now you're holding back. You're married now. Okay. So part of the consummation is to actually seal the deal, if you will, on that marriage. All of them is totally against it because they want to have a certain level of grace in terms of, I don't do that on the first date. Ma'am, this is not a date. This is your husband that you stood up here and signed up on this television show. Not that they have to do any of these things because it's her body, it's her right. But understand what it is that you signed up for. This is married at first sight. Now, as far as the fact that she says she could grow in the love, he's a very quirky kind of guy, awkward kind of fella, and she's learning to love him in many ways as she's developing a friendship, and they're jumping in bed and laughing together, and eventually, as it is, I believe she raises her voice. And so if you're not at a particular aesthetic in terms of being attractive, you may find that the lady raises her voice a little bit more, because if it's someone that she was attracted to, you may see the submission, you may see the softness. So if she's just not into you like that, you may get that loud voice, and she may be the type that stands over. I don't like to see women standing over a man, that dominating.
I don't like to see nobody standing over nobody.
Yeah, that too. Mm-mm. But that domination may come in. And so when she's down there in one knee, as I mentioned to Dad, now when it comes to being able to tell him to go in there and fry me some eggs, because now she's in a position of authority. As it is, no one likes to be told what to do. There's a respect level that goes along with it. But I do believe he will grow on her. But be careful what you sign up for.
And I wouldn't dare sign up for Married at First Sight or Love is Blind, because if you think her reaction was something, wait till you see my reaction when I get to that altar. And a lot of people were saying, with her being such a high earner, why wouldn't she invest money into getting a good matchmaker? Why come on a show where you don't know? Most of the time, unfortunately, most of the time, the real catches when it comes to men don't really sign up for those type of shows, because again, it's the same thing with getting men to the singles events. Mm-hmm. They feel like they don't have any issues when it comes to finding love, or they don't want to appear desperate, or right. they don't need all of that.
Right.
So you might not always get the creme de la creme on these dating shows or these married shows. Mm-hmm. So invest that money into something else. I don't know.
And stop acting as if it's superficial to actually have a physical attraction to someone. Let that be known that that's one of the things that matters. Now, when you say it don't matter about whether or not they're physically pleasing or appeasing, or shall I say, that they are attractive to you, as it says, beauty is in the eye of the behavior, but it seems as if she... What is it?
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Not the behavior. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and it seems that she does not want him holding her. All right? Be careful what it is that you ask for, because like you say, he has a dad bod, and he has this voice, and so all of these little idiosyncrasies, you're going to need to learn a person. Now, can you tolerate being around someone? I knew a young man that met a lady that had a very high-pitched voice, like Michelet. And this is so she had all of the aesthetic. She looked like Sade in his mind. But in terms of her voice, it was really like a Minnie Mouse. So are you able to handle some of these things when we're talking about physical attraction? Me, myself, personally, as my brother would say, I need some eye candy. All right? I need something that's going to be pleasing to me and my eyes. All right? And so that matters, Asha. Physical attraction matters. As we begin to wrap up, Asha, did you have anything else to add? Not so much wrap up, but to end the show for today on Monday. If you have anything, single events coming up, could you tell us a little bit about the Love Collective and how you have this database, which is really fascinating to me?
The Intentional Love Collective is my growing database that I have. It's also the platform, so it's the growing database of singles where you sign up. There's a questionnaire mm-hmm. that allows me to keep your preferences, your desires, and your values in mind when I match people, mm-hmm. when I invite you to curated events, and give you also exclusive discounts and things like that in the Intentional Love Collective. It's also when I interview people when I have conversations about dating and relationship. It's coaching for intentional dating. It's all of the things. It's all things love, dating, and relationships. Message. I'm also in the middle of planning the next Cowboy Cupid with Latrice Monet, who I collaborate with for that. We did have a meeting today to talk, but the person that we were meeting with had a conflict, time conflict. So we'll sometime this week we'll know our next date. So we'll definitely be keeping you. I'm distracted by the comments over here. We'll keep you updated about that. And then you can always find me on my Stan store, stan.store/Osha Cerese. That's OSHACERESE. Osha Cerese on all platforms, OSHACERESE. To book coaching sessions, life, love, and business. I'm your dream doula, supporting you with birthing your life, love, and business of your desires. And yeah, stay tuned for all the other things that I have coming up. Again, it's Osha Cerese on all platforms.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you all for going the duration, as we did have a power outage just briefly and it had to recalibrate. Thank you, Dad, for holding on. Pardon me?
Our Wi-Fi, yeah.
Our Wi-Fi. And so thank you, Dad, for being here in support of all of the things that we do here. I certainly do appreciate it, and we both appreciate it as well. And so once again, what I like to say is give yourself some grace today and have a good day on purpose. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. See y'all later. You ain't pushing no button.